All right, we are live. So
Hello,
hello.
Karen.
Hey, it's Reverend Karen Russo of the Money Keys, and I am live in beautiful Arizona, and I'm with my dear friend, Reverend Michele Whittington.
Hello.
Hello. And we're talking about something that I know if you are a hardworking, passionate, spiritually inspired woman, then I know you're going to care about this topic, which is expanding your container for good. And I'm delighted that Michele is leading a retreat June 7th through 9th in Sedona, Arizona. So, Michele, tell us a little bit about the work that you do, the Art of Feminine Presence work, and who it's for and why it's valuable.
Yes, I would love to. And thank you, Karen, so much for having me here. This is very fun, and I'm very excited to be able to share about not just the retreat, but about this, what I think is completely transformative work for any woman like myself who has been on a spiritual path, probably for a while.
Yeah.
I certainly am that woman. As a minister, in fact, a very specific spiritual path. And it was wonderful and it was beautiful and life was good. And I knew that there was a next level.
Yeah.
I knew there, and I know I have so many women in my life who just feel like there's just something next for them, ready to burst forth, but they're not even sure what it is. And they certainly don't have any clue about how to support bringing it forth. And so the work that I have started doing over the last several years now, the Art of Feminine Presence, supports that kind of woman in taking herself to the next level.
Yeah.
And by teaching tools and practices to, first of all, stand firm in your own authentic, real power, no matter what comes at you. And a lot of the times as women, we can, not all of us, but some of us can tend to shrink back when something hits. And so then we don't move forward in that direction we want to go because we've shrunk back. Or we go the other way, we kind of explode out, and that puts a cap on the forward movement as well.
Yeah.
So one of the things that this work does is helps us stand absolutely strong and firm and continuing to move forward no matter what life brings. And boy, I'm a testimony to that.
Absolutely.
I've had some things in my life the last year that could have rocked my world, and they did to a point. But because of this work, I'm standing strong and moving forward. So it's for a woman who wants that. It also...
Well, let me just
yes.
jump in there. I mean, I want to, so this is the thing about power, it's because it's kind of like, as people are listening to this and thinking about what I want to invest 3 days of my life to come to a retreat, the relationship we have with power, like how would I know my power relationship is off? And it feels to me like the symptoms of that, I mean, it's kind of like if it's off, you'll know it. But I would imagine it's busy but exhausted, or it's that thing you said about there's something I want to do, but I keep putting it off. Or if it's, I feel struggling and frustrated, either financially or professionally or in creatively. Like it could, that power issue could show up in any of those areas.
Yeah. And it also shows up in when a circumstance occurs in our life that we didn't expect, or it isn't going the way we want, even maybe the way we've affirmed or we've prayed for, and life throws stuff at us. And how do we navigate through that in a forward, expansive way? That's really what this retreat is going to be about. It's how to move forward in an expansive way to allow more good, however one defines good, for herself, to allow more good to easily flow in. Okay. Easily attract it. Yeah. Breathe that in. That's pretty yummy, isn't it? Yeah, very yummy.
And then what's the next area? So in addition to power, what's next?
Yeah, well, and I just spoke of it a bit, but we'll be specific about it. And that's magnetism, making us magnetic. So I have a spiritual belief, Karen, I know you're with me on this, that, infinite good is available. Infinite good is available to us. It's in the invisible, but it's right there. It sits right there. And we're the vessels to call it in. But if there's something blocked, we may be thinking we're calling it in because we want it, that new job or that love relationship or, the healthier body, whatever it might be. We think we're calling it in because we have a desire and we've set an intention, and all those things are really important. But if we have a block that's standing in the way of letting that invisible come into the visible, it's never going to get there. This work this weekend is going to be also about, staying in our power and removing that block. You know what? We don't even have to know what the block is. We don't have to know. We just have to know how to energetically, if you will, remove the block. And I'm going to offer several practices that do that like that.
You know what, one of the things I want to say to, folks that are thinking about attending a retreat with the beautiful Michele is that you are a master at helping people to gently see where they may be repelling. I'm using a strong word here, but where they may be repelling the good they say they want. And you help people very lovingly see where the blocks are, where they may be repelling, where they're in their own way. And, I just feel like not only are you a great teacher of the various tools and techniques, you're also an excellent facilitator of what's really happening in the room and processing people and answering questions and being gently confrontive when needed. And that's an important part, isn't it?
Thank you. Thank you for that, Karen. I really appreciate that. And it's something I love doing, that my heart is just called to support women to expand in greater ways. And I love it. And so therefore I do it. And I apologize if you hear my little dog barking.
That's your little dog. Well, we should probably, oh God.
Should we get him? Because maybe he wants.
Go ahead.
Let me go get him. Hold on 1 minute. You'll see how cute
he is. You go get. I'm going to also talk to people about.
You talk.
Yeah. So you'll go get. Okay. So if you are someone who is, if you are yourself an expert, a coach, a spiritual seeker, an author, somebody who likes to lead workshops, I really recommend, if this is calling to you at all, that you give yourself the gift of both being on the receiving end of Michele's beautiful work and facilitation, and you'll be a learner. So I am a very experienced facilitator. And when I attended one of these one-day retreats in Central Phoenix, I learned so much just by feeling and watching the room. I learned a lot for myself as a facilitator. So I just gave the woohoo. If someone wants to watch and model you, it's a great opportunity.
Thank you. And Karen, I just one other thing about that, because I've been a spiritual teacher for 22 years, and I know the importance of sometimes sitting back and being the receiver and being the one who's learning and growing myself. If I don't grow myself, then I'm really no good to those I'm serving. So this work is actually perfect for women who are leading other people, who are teachers, who are coaches, because it will help. It will just give you your own groundedness and then a lot more tools to work with people. Yeah.
All right. We've talked power, magnetizing. Is there a third thing?
There is a third thing, and it's my favorite. So I always save, the best to the last. And by the way, and this little guy right here is a symbol of it. It's perfect. I'm holding him now because it's joy. Bringing in more joy in your life. You spoke a moment ago, Karen, about, feeling stressed, perhaps overwhelmed, overworked. Many women feel that in their lives. They're juggling children and jobs and spouses and parents and, all sorts of things. And we can be stressed and unhappy. And when we expand our container to receive, actually to experience the joy that's already inside. So this work gives us a groundedness to feel the joy that's in us, and then to attract those things in our lives that, feel joyful, just like this little precious face right here that that always makes me laugh and smile.
All right. Well, beautiful. So power, magnetism, and joy. That's
yes.
And I know that for those that are watching this, that there's a savings if they register by April 1st. It's a value if you see this video afterwards and you're registering. Tell us a little bit about some of the logistics and details and how people can take the next step.
Yes. Well, first of all, this location is spectacular. I want to speak for a half a second about the location. It's Sedona Mago Retreat Center, and it is a powerfully sacred, beautiful retreat center. It isn't a hotel, nothing wrong with hotels. They're fabulous, but this is a true retreat center in the woods, basically, outside of Sedona. So it is spectacular. And it is an all-inclusive place, meaning they provide all the food. It's a cafeteria style, lovely food, though I've tested it, really good food. So the price of the retreat is an all-inclusive price. It's your room, it's your food, 6 meals, and the experience of the retreat itself. And so for a double occupancy, it's $499 for 2 women in a room. And if you want your own room, it is $659. Yeah, and all you have to do is get yourself there. And maybe if you want to buy a trinket in their bookstore, that will cost you. But otherwise, everything is included in that price.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
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 And when does it start? On Friday?
It starts on Friday. Officially, it starts at dinner time at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
But for those who can arrive by 4:30, we're going to do a little special introductory experience. I really want to encourage people to get there before dark. Yeah. It is a retreat center. It's kind of out in the wilderness. So I'd love people to get there before dark. And so I'm encouraging, you'll get something yummy if you come by 4:30. But it starts officially at dinner at 6, and then a session at 7 on Friday night, the 7th of June.
Perfect. And then people are there all day Saturday, and then they're there Sunday morning?
Until about 3, no later than 3 on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And if people are driving from the Phoenix Valley area, about how long will it take to get to the retreat center?
I would give 2 hours, although it's probably not that far. But there is a dirt road that you have to drive on for a bit. And so that's a little slow going. It's well worth that drive, I promise. But I would say give 2 hours.
All right, good. So, and why am I asking all these logistical questions? Because I know you women is like, you're like, what time do I have to leave? How do I have to get my, whether it's my little bundle of joy covered, how would I get there? All of that. Who's my girlfriend I'm going to invite if I want to share a room, or if you are the person who's like, I'd like a solo. Those prices are very accessible. I highly encourage you, if you are attracted to this, that you take the step and say yes. And what if people want a little bit more information, Michele? Can they just put in the comments here, or what's the best way to reach you personally if they wanted to chat a little bit about it? Sure.
They can go to my website, and there's a contact me section there. So that's probably the easiest thing. There's also a lot of information about the retreat on the website. And do you want then the address?
Yeah, we put that there, afp.com. So
got it.
All right, good. Well, so let's just take a breath and feel I'm just like basking in power, magnetism, and joy. And what's the final thing you want to say to someone who might be thinking about coming to join you?
Well, I want to point out the double meaning of the retreat's title, expanding your container for good. And by that, I mean good as in whatever you define as good, love, health, finance, right work, whatever that means. But I also mean it for good, as in forever. This is a retreat where you will be changed forever.
Yeah.
So if you want that, come play with me.
That sounds beautiful. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to stop the live stream and we'll just say thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And my dog says thank you too.